Hi, this is Belinda, and I help people build generational wealth with real estate. So today I am going to talk to you about closing costs. I've made reference of closing costs in some of my videos, and it's a topic that just I think deserves some attention, and not only deserve attention, but you just need to know what basically it entails, and then what first of all what they are, and then what it entails, and then why. In some cases they're so high, and then in some cases they're not as high. So it's when it comes to closing costs, so it's this, there's no way that you can have a one size fits all, but there are some general breakdown when it comes to closing costs. So closing costs, as the word just entails, is it's the cost that you will incur, that the buyer, you as the buyer, will incur for closing the loan. So that includes it's basically divided into, so you will have, first and foremost, you will have some loan charges, and you will also have some government charges. You will have some title charges, and you'll also have some miscellaneous charges. So let's start with the loan charges. So first and foremost, when you probably went with your lender, especially when you first started looking for a home, and hopefully your realtor introduced you to a good lender and help you kind of shop in for three different. I always recommend to shop at least three, because you will want to see who has a better rate, but that's a responsibility that you as the buyer should take upon. Hopefully you research and then you found one that has a good rate, and that you have hopefully kind of interview them and just see which one works for you. So you will choose that company, and then when you choose that company, so one of the first things that they will ask you for your W-2. If you are an employee, if you are self-employed, they will ask you about your last 2 years of your tax return, and they will ask you for your social security, just so that they can run your credit. So as they run your credit, it's not done for free. You can access your own credit for free, and so now, since it's available once a week, it's from the three credit bureau. It used to be annual, but now you can have it for free every week. And I believe it's my annual credit report, where you can pull your own credit. But especially when you give the permission for somebody else to pull your credit, and in the case of a loan for a home, so they will pull your credit and you have to pay for it, but you will not pay it right away, so that will be part of the closing cost. So that's one of the charges that you incur in your closing cost. And you also have the loan origination fee, because your lender will originate the loan, and they will have another company such as Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, to service that loan. So they will have a loan origination fee, and then in order for them to process that, you also have to pay for it. You also have the appraisal fee, because during the home, when your home is under contract, they will have to send an appraiser there to conduct an appraisal, and you will pay for that. So although you will not pay for it right away, but you will pay at the end when closing time comes. And then if you need any type of flood certification, and then some debt monitoring, and then you have mortgage insurance, and then you will have mortgage insurance that you will have to pay, and then also the mortgage interest, for the PMI. You will have to pay it up front during the closing cost, during the closing period. So you will have that, and then you also have the government fees that you have to pay, government fees. So that's mainly in terms of tax recordation, and then in terms of tax transfer with the county, and also if your seller had previously paid their taxes, the property taxes. So you will have, because usually property taxes, they're included in your mortgage, so you kind of prepay them as you are paying your mortgage. You're also paying for your property taxes. Like in my case, I am paying for it, so the mortgage company basically holds that money into an escrow account. And for most people also, that's the same way. They hold into an escrow account, and then when the time comes to disperse the money, they would just let me know that, well, you know what, this is how much money you had in escrow, but now that tax time has come, especially for the county or the state, we will disperse, X amount, because the county will also send you a bill, but you will have to you will have to communicate with your loan company, and then just making sure that they paid. And when they do, they usually will tell you, they should tell you. But anyway, in the case of selling a home, so since that money is being held in escrow, so basically the home owner or the seller had already paid for that, they will credit that money. So you will have to credit that money to the home, to your seller, to the person who's selling you the house. And then when it comes to commission, I already told you, you do not have to pay. In most cases, 98% of the time, you do not need to pay for commissions. So that usually comes out of the seller. But in case that you do have to pay, in the case that you do, in a very rare case where you do have to pay some commission, so that will also be factored into your closing cost. And in the state of Maryland, when you are a first-time owner, you do not have to pay for recordation fees. So tax, because you're basically a first-time homeowner, so you don't have, you're not transferring from one property to another, or you're not selling your property, so you're a new time, first-time home buyer. So that tax recordation is done, is paid by the seller. So in whichever state that you are, find out if that's your responsibility, of that, especially if you're first-time home buyer, if that's your responsibility or the responsibility of the seller. So, and then you have the title charges. So title is very important because they need to make sure that the property is free and clear in the title, so that when you get the house, you don't get a house that has some holes in the title, or you don't get a house and then a month or two, or even a year or two into the house, and then you see somebody who comes and tells you, well, you know what, I have right to this property, or you need to pay me X amount of money, because the previous owner or your seller had a tax, had a lien on the property, because they didn't either pay somebody who performed the work, in the property, or they had some family member who basically had the hand on the property, but it was never, it was not known to the owner or to you or to anybody else. And but the fact that they can prove that they rightfully have a hand on the property, and it will definitely work on the favor. So having your title company to do the due diligence in searching for title, so that's very important. So you have those charges that are included in there, and then also you have some miscellaneous charges, so such as your broker, because when you sign, especially when you have an agent, you will have to sign a buyer's broker's agreement. Just basically that kind of gives you a fiduciary responsibility, so that your real estate agent is responsible for you and can kind of cover you. But in many cases, you do have to pay an application fee. You have to pay that application fee, and then you also have to pay for, let's say for my title company, they always advise to have a termite inspection, so which is it's always nice to have, you know, just to know that, well, you know, there are no termite into the house that you're buying, that you are purchasing. So these are some of those fees. And then also you have the homeowner insurance that you have to pay, because the loan company will like to for you to have some type of homeowner insurance, because God forbid you enter into the house and something happens and, you know, gets caught on fire or what have you, you know, without having a homeowner insurance, you will basically lose on that. But so in a nutshell, that's what really closing costs entail. So kind of breaking it down, you know, of course, you know, each unit, you know, when it comes to whether it's the loan company, the loan charges, whether it's the government charges, um, title charges, or the miscellaneous charges, it varies from house to house, and it varies from also the time of the year, you know, because if you purchase, let's say you purchase a home during the summer months, so your government charges probably be low, because the time that the government kind of, you know, I mean, whether it's the county or the state, it usually runs in June. So the taxes are due in June, so it's prepaid for a year, and they usually do in June and in December. In my county, principal is due in June and also in December. So you have that 6 month. So if you purchase a home during the 6 months, in between the 6 months, then you see that your tax charges will be, what you have to credit to the seller will probably be high, as opposed to, let's say, if you purchase a home next month, will probably be zero, because they don't own, they basically prepaid what they prepaid, and you don't have to prepay anything. So you will just start from that point on and start paying the county. So it varies, you know, I mean, also when it comes to loan charges, if you have an origination, not so much an origination fee, if you have a point, if you bought some point in order to lower your interest rate, you will also be charged at. So it varies from person to person, it varies from house to house, it varies from state to state. But the general rule is to have, for about, in the state of Maryland, about 3 to 4% of the purchased home. You can just think about that as being your closing cost. But however, the good news about closing costs is that many times, and especially when it's a buyer's market, you may likely have the seller who willing to pay some, if not all, of the closing costs on your behalf. So it never hurts to try. I always try to advocate that for my clients. I always ask, and the worst thing they can say is no, we're not paying for it. And if they say no, well, at least we tried, because in a couple of instances it has worked, where the seller have agreed to pay all of the closing costs, and that just means more money in your pocket, you know, because especially moving comes with its own expenses. Alright, so I hope that this video has been helpful. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and let me know what you would like for me to talk about. Alright, I'll talk to you later. My name is Belinda, and I help people build generational wealth with real estate. Talk to you later.